To the Coleman Coliseum for tonight's gymnastics matchup, featuring the 9th-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama as they host the number 5 LSU Tigers. This is the 4th meet of the season for both of these teams. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, and let's talk about Alabama. We're here in the legendary Coleman Coliseum, excited to be here, and they're coming off a huge uplifting victory against Georgia at Georgia last week.
Yes, and that's after a really rocky start to their season. The first 2 meets were not good at all, but last week they went into Georgia, upset the SEC rival right there, and elevated the level of their gymnastics. Ari Guerra was so good on her 3 events and really helped lead this team to a much-needed victory and to hopefully bring that momentum into this competition. She was so good on all the events, showed a lot of difficulty, fought for these landings. This competition was close, so every single landing counted from start to finish.
And a big score, away score for Alabama, that 196.9, just about reaching that important 197 barrier. Season high scores on all events for the Crimson Tide, and all the events were anchored by either freshmen or sophomores, and we'll talk about that tonight in our telecast on the SEC Network because they're contributing a great deal. Now for LSU, last week they welcomed the Florida Gators at home in the PMAC. Sarah Finnegan was superb in the all-around.
Absolutely. She put on a show. So spectacular on every single event. Nailed every single landing. And when a gymnast is this flawless as she is, watch this tiny little mistake, a sidestep after the 2.5 twist. That's the only mistake, if you can even call it that, she made during the night.
So Sarah Finnegan won the all-around in every event, but although LSU lost to number 17 and number 3 Florida this season, the last time they had 2 losses in the SEC was going all the way back to 2012. Ashton Kirby is out with a knee injury, and McKenna Kelly was back in the lineup after recovering from her Achilles tendon injury last year. So tonight, Friday Night Heights, it's LSU versus Alabama. We'll talk a little bit about last week's amazing finishes for both of these teams as Florida stunned LSU at home, and then Alabama got the win over Georgia in Athens. And then we'll talk to the athletes about how their impressions of their marvelous coaches. I think you'll have a little fun with that. And then we'll go all around the SEC and update the teams in the top 25. A lot coming up tonight on the SEC Network with gymnastics and Friday Night Heights. So we'll go down to the PA announcer and we'll toss it to the national anthem singer, Rachel Hughes.
Our national anthem, performed by Rachel Hughes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Now let's meet our visitors from Louisiana State University. A freshman from New Orleans, Louisiana, Rebecca D'Antonio. A freshman from Orlando, Florida, Bailey Ferrer. A sophomore from Dallas, Texas, Reagan Campbell. A sophomore from Fort Myers, Florida, Bridget Dean. A sophomore All-American and All-SEC gymnast from Hackettstown, New Jersey, Christina Desiderio. A sophomore from Athens, Georgia, Sammy Durante. A sophomore from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Sarah Edwards. A sophomore from Mandeville, Louisiana, Olivia Gunter. A junior from Claremont, North Carolina, Ashlyn Kirby. A junior All-American and All-SEC gymnast from Bristol, England, Ruby Harold. A junior NCAA champion and All-American from Chino, California, Kennedy Edney. A senior All-American from Waxhaw, North Carolina, Juliana Canamela. A senior All-American from Cincinnati, Ohio, Lexi Priestman. A senior All-American from Houston, Texas, McKinney Kelly. And a senior All-American from Lee Summit, Missouri, Sarah Finnegan. Here are the coaches: volunteer assistant coach Ashley Claire Kearney, assistant coach Bob Moore, associate head coach Jay Clark, and head coach Dee Dee Bro. Alabama fans, get on your feet, get out your phones, turn on your flashlights, and light up Coleman Coliseum for your Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama, they are so resilient.
First, our freshman, joining the Tide in January from Tuscaloosa, Sania Mitchell. From Newport Beach, California, with a 3.86 grade point average for her career, Kinsey Gibbons. From Spring, Texas, with an overall GPA of 3.66, Aisha DeWalt. From Virginia Beach, Virginia, with a 3.96 GPA for her career, Griffin James. From Coral Springs, Florida, the 3.9 GPA for her career, Emily Gaskins. And a World Championship silver medalist and 2016 Olympian with a 4.0 GPA in the fall, from Vancouver, British Columbia, Shalyn Olsen. Our sophomores, a transfer who joined the Crimson Tide in the fall from Apex, North Carolina, Tia Kiaku. A 2016 Olympian from Spanish Fort, Alabama, with a 3.67 grade point average for her career, Kylie Dixon. A Scholastic All-American from Boonton, New Jersey, with a 3.87 GPA for her career, Alonza Klopper. And a Scholastic All-American and the defending NCAA Regional All-Around and Ball Champion from Cape Coral, Florida, with a 3.77 overall GPA, Lexi Graver. Our juniors, a Scholastic All-American from Spearfish, South Dakota, with a 3.3 GPA for her career, Winter Childers. A two-time Scholastic All-American from Algonquin, Illinois, with a 3.93 GPA overall, Shay Mahoney. A two-time Scholastic All-American and All-SEC gymnast from Lenexa, Kansas, with a 4.0 GPA in the fall, Maddie Dash. And our seniors, a two-time Scholastic All-American from Aiken, South Carolina, with a 3.9 GPA in the fall, Angelina Giancroce. A three-time Scholastic All-American, a May 2018 graduate, with a 4.0 GPA in her master's program from Mobile, Abby Armbrecht. And your defending SEC floor exercise champion and a 3-time Scholastic All-American from League City, Texas, with a 3.88 GPA for her career, Ari Guerra. Alabama is led by volunteer assistant coach Asia Sims, assistant coaches Bill Lorenz and Ryan Roberts, and head coach Dana Duckworth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alabama Gymnastics.
And we hope everybody enjoyed the Before the Heights pre-meet festivities from Tuscaloosa tonight. Coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live on the air on the SEC Network. It is Alabama welcoming LSU. First vault is at 9:05.
Absolutely stunning form. It was the same thing, like a great tennis match, going head-to-head, back and forth, another nail-biter.
And Florida beat LSU for the first time in the PMAC. It's the first loss they've had there in 5 years. So another breaking news story is that Lexi Graber, the outstanding all-arounder for Alabama, tweaked her lower right leg in the warm-up. We'll show you a little video. It's not gruesome at all. Earlier, and so she's out of the all-around, and there's been lots of lineup changes here, Kathy, in the last few minutes just as we got set to go to the competition.
And you can look at that a couple different ways. It's an opportunity to really explore the depth that they have on each event, but they will definitely miss Lexi Graber.
It's a very young team. You see the 6 vaulters who are slated to go now. As we mentioned, Lexi Graber would have been an important contributor to that group.
And would have been a third 10-0 start value vault. For now, they will have 2 at the end of their lineup. The first 4 vaulters will do a Yurchenko full.
Winter Childers, the junior from North Dakota.
A very solid vault. It's a 9.95 start value for that vault. The judges are looking for height, distance, and of course a perfectly laid out body.
She got the call to do the vault 3 times in last season. Okay, now the visiting team LSU will open up on the bars. And you see Sammy Durante, who has earned that leadoff spot for the visiting LSU Tigers. She's a sophomore from Athens, Georgia.
You'll see right off the bat, she is so aggressive, really attacks every single skill in this routine, really trying to hit those handstand positions. Got plenty of amplitude on that single bar release move. Nice height on the pack salto down, big swing out of that. Little bit of leg form, but she's gotten it all back together here. Hit that handstand perfectly on top. Big dismount, half in, half out, and a stuck landing. What a great way to start off.
On vault for Alabama, Emily Gaskins.
Emily Gaskins now for Alabama. The leadoff scorer, Winter Childers, had a 9.75.
Another Yurchenko full. Good distance from the table. A little bit of a pike down there at the end. Watch for the position, the shape in the air. If it's perfectly straight, very nice, just a little pike down too soon, and that caused her to over-rotate. Right here, pikes, and then jumps back.
We want to welcome our crowd just joining us from the Georgia-Auburn meet. It's a great crowd on here at the Coleman Coliseum as number 9, Crimson Tide, welcomes the number 5 LSU Tigers. We're glad you joined us. We're in the first of 4 rotations. Alabama has a 9.75 on vault and a 9.825 for Childers and Gaskins. We're going to bars. This will be Bridget Dean for LSU And she's coming up after Sammy Durante led them off with a 9.825. There are the 6 athletes for the LSU Tigers that will be in the lineup tonight on bar.
Bridget opens with a big single bar release right here. A ray, a toe on, toe off to that reverse heck. Just a little bit of pike in her body position. Might have been a tad short on that final handstand. Good stretch through the bottom of that giant swing. Great job at hitting that release point, getting the shape in the air, and nailing the landing.
Great job for the sophomore from Fort Myers, Florida. She did not make the lineup in 2018, but she's already earned a stick crown here tonight in Tuscaloosa. The stick crown, of course, is passed out by the gymnast for a landing just like that. Completely stuck. We'll go back to vault now for Alabama. As I mentioned, Winter Childers a 9.75, Emily Gaskins a 9.825. This is Abby Armbrecht.
Yurchenko full, very pretty vault in the air, nice distance from the table.
There is Lexi Graber. This is a last-minute development, Kathy Johnson-Clark. In the warm-ups, it looked like she tweaked her ankle just a little bit in the vault warm-up, and so you see she's wearing a boot there. She will not go tonight in any of the 4 events, and she's an important all-around contributor for the Crimson Tide.
From what we've heard, it's nothing serious. They just want to be cautious, then they will reassess and see where things stand. But you're right, filling in for her on every single event will be a challenge. This routine Ruby Harrell does, she just takes off and doesn't stop. It comes right at you with that zoop hold. Nice release move into the handstand on the low bar. Watch how she sets this up. Beautiful height on the straddle Jaeger. And right into the dismount here, double front. Really, really well done. Little step on that landing.
The 2 scores prior to her, Sammy Durante had a 9.825 to lead them off. Bridget Dean a 9.8, which is her season high.
Love this mount, and she just gets off to business. Good control on that handstand, unique skill to get those judges' attention. And the dismount, difficult to land. Well, there's your Jaeger, nice release move.
Shea Mahoney now for Alabama.
Another Yurchenko full, little bit of a pike position in the air on that hop back. Those will be the 2 deductions on that vault.
Abby Armbrecht before her had a 9.825.
Watch for legs together, toes pointed, finished the twist above the level of the table. A very pretty, well-executed vault.
Kennedy Edney will be next to go for LSU on the bars. Ruby Harold in with a 9.85, so a 9.8, a 9.825, and a 9.85 so far for LSU, the visiting team on bars.
And she has 2 great bookends of this routine. Opens up the routine with a huge release move right there, the Hindor. This is the reverse heck out of a clear hip. I love how much better her form has gotten on this event. Nice straight legs in those handstands now. A little bit of leg separation at the end of that kip before the cast. But watch this. Favorite part of the routine, double layout.
Oh!
Beautifully done.
Jay Clark, the associate head coach, knows that was the landing he was looking for the junior from Chino, California.
A lot of gymnasts get too much of an arch, too much of a pike. She has it just right. Perfectly straight.
Good job for the 10-time All-American, and she'll earn the stick crown in this first rotation. Ari Guerra, coming after Shea Mahoney, notched a 9.8.
The last 2 vaults for Alabama are unique. This is a round off onto the board, half on, front tuck with a half twist. A lot of change of direction. That's about the best landing I've ever seen her do on that vault. Did a much better job of getting the chest up, really getting that rotation all the way around. Cleaner in the air. This just gets better and better. Her head's a little bit below the table. At the end of the skill, I'd like to see it a little bit higher and her knees bend just a little too soon on the pre-flight. But other than that, great improvement.
One of the most consistent vaulters for their team last year. Here is Lexi Priestman. She's coming after Kennedy Edney's 9.9. We found out just before the meet that she's been suffering from some stomach problems. We don't expect she'll go in the vault tonight, but they need her here on bar.
And I can see her struggle just a little bit. Little leg separation on that release move down to the low bar. But she is fighting like the warrior she is. Coming up with exactly what they need. Double layout. And as if she is on autopilot, finds that landing. Well done.
A clutch performance for the away team. They have 1.99 from Kennedy Edney.
So the judges are looking for that vertical position right on top of the bar on the handstand. She has a nice flat back position. No sway in the back, no angles in the hips and shoulders. And way to fight for that landing. Good for her.
Excited to see this next vaulter for Alabama. This is Shalyn Olson. She happens to be the silver medalist at the 2018 World Championships. Silver to Simone Biles, who won the gold.
And this is a double twist. Wow, look at that. That is a highlight of this competition, and we've just begun.
Remember that Lexi Graber, normally very solid, out of the lineup, so it means that this freshman from Vancouver, her vault's even more critical.
This is the most difficult vault being done in women's collegiate gymnastics. Hips are 4 feet above the table. Gets those 2 twists in. Pretty good form. Just a little bit of a knee bend, but look at that landing. What a way to punctuate it.
And the final performer for LSU on the bar, Sarah Finnegan, coming after Lexi Priestman, notched a 9.875.
And this is what you want to see, those straight arms throughout the entire routine on bars. Everything is very stretched out. Good amplitude. Her dismount is also a double layout. Perfectly together, legs in the air. That's not easy to do on that skill. Most of the gymnasts let them go out a little bit.
So that completes the first of 4 rotations. They gave her the stick crown ambitiously because that's one of those sticks that doesn't stick.
It was a quick
very
salute.
long.
It was a quick salute. She didn't move the feet, but it was quick.
And her score came in at 9.875, but Shalyn Olson, a highlight for the home team, the Crimson Tide, with a great 9.9 in vault. We're underway here in Alabama.
I love competing at Coleman. It is just so thrilling and exhilarating. The fireworks and everyone just screaming for you. Everyone within your team is just so excited just to be back. I love competing at Coleman. It is just so thrilling and exhilarating. The fireworks and everyone just screaming for you. Everyone within your team is just so excited just to be back out there.
There really is nothing like it, you know, seeing all the lights and all the fans and all the girls
screaming your name and, pulling for you. It really gives us, something bigger to compete for. And it just puts the love back in the sport, and it's a really big part of our why we do it.
And welcome back to Tuscaloosa. We are inside the legendary Coleman Coliseum. And as you can see, the scores after the first rotation, these two teams separated by just 15 100ths of a point. I'm a buddy, I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. This week, we expect a close battle. And how about last week? Well, Alabama and Georgia was a thriller over there in Athens, wasn't it?
It was so exciting. I was so proud of both teams. They fought so hard, and it really was like a tennis match, going back and forth, one-upping each other every single event. And we're hoping that kind of momentum really plays into this evening. But last week, wow. Each one that went, it's like, anything you can do, I can do better. And the team would come back. There was so much energy, so much fight.
It was a big boost for the morale at Alabama to get that victory over Georgia by 25,000. And then it was Florida going into LSU.
And they were all like warrior princesses in this competition. They really were so tough in battle and beautiful in their execution.
And that meet separated by less than 1/10 of a point as well. We're looking for a thrilling battle again in the SEC tonight as Alabama welcomes LSU. Stick around for the second rotation. That's a huge crowd on hand in Tuscaloosa tonight in Coleman Coliseum as number 9 Alabama welcomes number 5 LSU. These two teams separated by 15 100ths of a point. Now next week, Friday Night Heights will bring you 2 more meets. We start at 7 Eastern with Arkansas against number 6 Georgia squaring off in Athens. Then it's number 9 Alabama taking on number 15 Missouri in Columbia, and we will be there. Friday Night Heights is also streaming live on the ESPN app. There's so much parity in this conference these days, Kathy Johnson-Clark.
Absolutely. It's so great to see these teams continue to push each other's. There's so much history in the SEC, and we just watch it get better and better.
So the second of 4 rotations you see for LSU, 4 of the 6 vaulters will be going for 10-0 start value vaults. That's key if you hope to be a championship team. Sarah Finnegan leads them all.
And I love that she starts this event off for them because she is the standard on this event. You cannot do a Yurchenko full prettier than that vault. The execution is excellent. The form and precision is just exquisite. Toes pointed, legs straight. And look at the height. I believe this is the highest I've ever seen Sarah in the air and a good 6 feet from the table.
And she drilled it. They might as well just leave that stick crown on her head. It seems like she has a knack for nailing those landings. I expect a big score to lead them off as we go to bars now. Ari Guerra set to go to lead off the Crimson Tide.
She's such a strong athlete on this event. Nice form in that straddle Jaeger. She has a little bit of a bounce out of the kip into the handstand. So it looks just a little bit muscle. Oh, legs apart. A little on the end of that kip. The rest of the routine, very, very clean. Excellent. Oh, no. Fantastic double layout. Just that step. I thought she was going to be able to hold on to the stick.
So the senior from League City, Texas, gets him off to a solid start, but a missed opportunity on that landing.
Absolutely. Nice form. I love that she kept the legs straight, the toes pointed in the release move. Thought she might have this let go just a little bit. Didn't quite get her feet up enough to get the full rotation.
And we go back to vault now. This is Ruby Harrell, the 2-time Olympian from Great Britain. Sarah Finnegan led them off with a nice 9.875.
And this is a much improved vault for Ruby Harold. She's doing the 1.5 twist. She had a little trouble in the warm-ups landing short, but wow. I don't know if she's surprised herself or it just made her so happy she's going to cry.
It might have knocked the wind out of her, too. That was an amazing landing.
Well, it's funny because she was a little bit shorter rotation in the warm-ups. But right now, that played to her benefit because she just didn't budge.
And Dee Dee Bro, the dean of coaches in the SEC, likes it. Wow.
I don't think she was able to move her feet.
She's like, I tried to step, but I couldn't. All right, Winter Childers will be up now. Ari Guerra let them off with a 9.85.
Beautiful transition from low bar to high bar. The gymnast must go back and forth at least twice from low to high and high to low. Little bit short on that cast to handstand. Check this dismount out. That's a nifty one and a good landing. That half, I don't even know what you call it. It's a flippy twisty thing.
Winter Childers, the junior from North Dakota, she got the call. She was an alternate, but when Lexi Graber pulled out after the meet warm-ups, they moved her into the second spot here.
Check this out. There's a half twist back out. So half in and then back out. Very cool.
We go back to vault now. Juliana Canamella coming off to Ruby Harold's season-high 9.9.
And this can be a very clean Yurchenko full vault. She usually has good form in the air. She can maintain the layout. Not bad. Much more of a hollow position instead of a pike. And look at the landing.
The third stick in a row for the LSU Tigers. Canamella, the senior from North Carolina, first-team All-American on vault last year.
Really nice job with these landings. How exciting for this team. 4.5 feet up above the table. Pretty good height. 5 feet, a little bit short on the distance, but an impressive landing.
And we'll go back to bars now for Alabama. The freshman Jenzy Gibbons from Newport Beach, California.
Both were marked on her beautiful toe point and leg form on this event. Look at that main toe. Oh, a little bit off on the regrasp. And a tiny bit short on the transition to the handstand on low. But I love how tightly she keeps those legs together. Beautiful bottom part of that giant. Oh, good job.
What a beautiful landing.
Very, very nice landing. As I said, some of the gymnasts really show off more of a laid out position in that dismount. Look at the toe point. She was just a little too close on that release move, so they'll take a deduction. The arms were bent on the regrass. Love how she got this landing right there. Nicely done.
Jenzy Gibbons is the daughter of Lynn Holly Johnson, who was the star of the 1978 movie Ice Castles. How about that? McKenna Kelly now on vault.
Handspring front pike half. Oh, she wanted that landing. Almost got it. A very difficult vault. That's a 10-0 start value. And notice no round off onto the board. You have to be such a powerful gymnast, bringing lots of speed into it. And
of course, there's her famous mom, the 1984 Olympic gold medalist in the all-around Mary Lou Retton, who never looks terribly relaxed at these events. This is unfair for mom to put them in this position.
It really is, but I know it's got to be so fun for her to see her daughter perform a vault that she did and did so well.
Good scores for LSU over there. Juliana Canamella had a 9.875 as we go back to bars. Shea Mahoney now.
Beautiful handstand. Nice position there, and another good handstand after that bail to low bar.
Scores in for Jenzy Gibbons, the freshman, in 9.75.
This is what you want to see on bars. Straight arm work throughout. No effort at all on those casting handstands. Beautiful job on the half in, half out. Fantastic landing.
You know, LSU has been drilling their landings. Now Alabama is saying, anything you can do, I can do better.
Well, and she stepped it up here by hitting these perfect handstand positions. Really beautiful stretch from hand all the way through to the tip of her toe. Full twisting double back. Notice how she kept the knees together, the toes pointed throughout the entire skill.
A shot for the junior from Algonquin, Illinois. As we go back to the vault, Kennedy Edney will be next to go. McKenna Kelly scored 9.725.
Tell you what, if Kennedy Edney can stick this 1.5, it can be a huge score because it's a giant vault. That is a beautiful vault. We have seen some terrific vaults all night long for both teams.
And 4 of the 5 landings have been completely stumped.
Look at this. This is as good a form as I've seen Kennedy in the air. 5 feet off the table. Great distance, out past that 6 feet mark. But I love that she kept those legs straight and together. They were straighter than usual, and the landing, superb.
The former NCAA vault champ in 2017. We go back to bars, by the way. The score in for Shea Mahoney, a 9.95.
Oh, missed her boots. That's unusual. And she's really got to regain her composure, get back at another little mistake there. She's just off. She does her release move at the end of her routine. Nice how she turns that over, does that counter swing, short handstand, unfortunately, on that last cast. Half in, half out, step on the landing. They're going to hit her hard, though, on the mistake at the mount.
Missed opportunity there for the sophomore from Spanish Fort, Alabama, although she did much of her elite training in Southern California. We'll go back to vault. Bailey Ferrer is going to get the go on vault tonight for LSU because Lexi Friesman, as we noted, has some stomach virus, they believe, and so they pulled her out of vault. Kennedy Edney before her, a 9.925. So LSU already has 4 superb scores. Let's see what Ferrer can do.
It's a 10-0 start value, half on, front pipe. A little bit sloppy in the air. The judges are going to have to deduct for bent knees and her position onto the table. It's not exactly the position you want. She gets an angle in her shoulders right here. Legs are apart. She doesn't quite finish that half turn. And Jay Clark had said she's just not quite ready with this vault yet.
The freshman from Orlando, part of this young squad for LSU. There's also a young squad for Alabama. Emily Gaskins now. She's the freshman from Coral Springs, Florida.
Opens with a nice combination. Toe on shap and then right back down to low bar. Here's the first one. Right up to high and hack salto down to the low bar. A little bit of leg separation. Nice straight arm work in her giants. Double layout, a little bit of flexed feet throughout the somersault and a hop back.
Gaskins, the freshman from Coral Springs, Florida, did a lot of her elite training. 3-time member of the U.S. national team. She did it up in Cincinnati. LSU had a season high on vault with a 49.4 after drilling 4 landings out of the 6. And a big score there for LSU was Kennedy Edney's 9.925. Let's go down to their head coach, Dee Bro. Dee, what's your impression of that rotation on vault?
Well, I thought we vaulted really well. I thought there was a lot of spirit, a lot of enthusiasm, and we stuck some nice vaults, and now we move on. It was very good.
You sound kind of low-key. Stuck some vaults. You nailed a few of those landings. What on earth did you tell them to get that?
Well, we had to change our lineup a little bit, and, we told them they get out here and get the job done. They can they create their destiny, and we'll see how the rest of this thing goes. I was very pleased with the first 2 events. Great competition.
Were you a little bit concerned after last week? They put so much energy into that competition, whether they'd have it to dig down deep and find today.
No, last week was last week, and we're over that and moving forward. A little bit, just ready to get the second 2 events done. But I was very pleased with how we competed last week. I thought we did all we can do.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Dee. Good luck the rest of the way. You have a lead of .325 over Alabama as we go into the second half of this competition.
Go Tigers.
Dee Bro and Dana Duckworth are two of the most dynamic personalities in the SEC. When we come back, we'll hear the LSU and Alabama gymnasts, their impersonations of these incredible coaches.
She always gives me a fist bump and like a head nod, like, you've got this. Nothing great has ever been achieved without enthusiasm. Power stance, ladies.
Hey, Mac, you wanna try to, on your front toss, drop your heel a little more.
Oh, it's great to see the personalities of these young ladies reflecting on these legendary coaches. There, of course, is Dee Bro in her 42nd year and Dana Duckworth in her 5th year as the head coach here, although she's been with the program as a national champion herself and many years as a volunteer and assistant coach. She's in charge now, and Alabama having a good season so far. So when we come back to Tuscaloosa, it looks like LSU goes to the floor and Alabama will go to the beam. Great competition in the SEC tonight. We're back in Tuscaloosa, the visiting LSU Tigers, with a lead of .325 over number 9, Alabama. Great night of gymnastics in the SEC. We are the third of the triple header. Trinity Thomas was outstanding for the Florida Gators earlier.
Rocked a 9.975 on the bars, and the Florida Gators, when you drop a 9.9 as your low score, you have rocked the house.
And a 39.7 career high in the all-around for the freshman for the Gators. How about Auburn on the vault at home?
How exciting. Nothing better than a stuck landing, and Darian Goborn is really exciting the collegiate gymnastics world. This freshman is lighting the place up at Auburn.
And another freshman doing her part. That one, Darian Goborn for Auburn. Thrilling to watch them. We'll get to see them later on this season. All 8 SEC teams are ranked in the top 25. This is the premier conference in women's college gymnastics, without a doubt. 3 Florida scores, 49.725 on bars. Number 3, Florida scores the highest score in the season on the bars. That is incredible, 49.725. And Sunday, we'll have our next women's college basketball game right here on the SEC Network as number 15 Kentucky takes on number 24 Texas A&M in College Station at 5 Eastern. You can always watch it on the ESPN app from anywhere. In the third of 4 rotations, that means the home team Alabama goes to the beam.
Lovely mount to start this routine.
Alonza Copper, the sophomore from New Jersey.
Wolf turn. I like that she stands right up out of that position. It's not an easy position to make look pretty and elegant. She did it nicely.
Consistent contributor on beam and floor exercise in her freshman year, the former junior Olympic national champ on this event.
Very elegant presentation, even on the aggressive landing out of her layout. She did soft arms down. I love the contrast between the dynamics of the acrobatic series.
Earlier this week, we were talking to Coach Dana Duckworth about the choreography this year on beam, a little bit different with the new pause deduction in play.
Absolutely. The judges are going to be a little stricter on those pauses for concentration before difficult elements. Nice job on that landing. Very good start for Alabama. So they've really worked hard on the choreography to choreograph places to concentrate but keep moving throughout.
Good leadoff performance on the beam, and of course, as we have noted before, leadoff on beam is one of the critical scores in all of women's collegiate gymnastics. It sets the pace for the rest of the rotation. The leadoff on floor for LSU in this rotation is Ruby Harrell.
Now watching these floor routines, the opening pass is often the most difficult. And ideally you want to see the very difficult E-level pass. This is one of them. It's a double twisting front. closes with a pipe double back.
Consistent contributor on vault and bars last year for LSU. Only did floor exercise in the lineup 5 times. And like some of the other teams we've noted, Kathy, a lot of these teams are adjusting because of the people that had graduated and left some holes in the lineup.
Ruby finishes with her combination pass. You'll see 2 saltos, that back 1.5 to a front layout. Pretty good control on all 3 of her landings. We'll take another look at that first pass. Remember I said look for these E passes, the most difficult rating of pass. You'll see double backs in laid out position. This one is a front somersault laid out with 2 twists. And the judges look for the controlled landing on those 2 feet before they step into the dance.
There's a breakdown for some of the deductions on landing specifically.
And they can even take up to a quarter, a tenth, or a tenth, or even cumulative if they're not absolutely perfect, but you certainly don't want to see large steps.
Alonza Klopfer had a 9.825, a great score there to lead them off, and that sets up Maddie Desch, the junior from Lenexa, Kansas.
Cat leap to front aerial, right into a beat jump. A little bit wide on that beat jump. I'd like to see a little more precision in the feet and keeping them tight together as they switch. Back handspring layout. Step out needs a little bit more amplitude, a little bit higher off the beam, but no deduction certainly in terms of balance.
Coach Duckworth is hoping that Klopfer and Desch would be that really strong 1-2 punch on their beam rotation week in and week out. So far delivering.
Absolutely. I like the rhythm of the routine. She keeps it moving. Lost her toe point just a little bit at the top of that first leap. Those judges want to see those leaps in the perfect 180-degree split. In order to do that, they really have to go beyond split. There's that round off 1.5 twist. Excellent control on the landing.
Remember, Alabama trailing LSU going into this rotation by .325. So these beam routines are critical.
Her acro series is a back handspring layout, step out. As I said, I'd like to see just a little bit more height, amplitude on those. Nothing to deduct there on that landing one.
Go back to floor for LSU. We thought we'd see Reagan Campbell in the second spot, but she was pulled out after the warm-up, and so Juliana Canamella gets the call here on floor for the Tigers.
And a wonderful opportunity for her. She is a tremendous performer, really connects with the music, the audience, performs big. High pike toe back, little bit of buckle of the knees on the landing.
We mentioned some of the people that have graduated, specifically at LSU. Erin McAday and Maya Hambrick were just 9.9 or better almost all year long. So LSU asking for some athletes like Canamella to step up.
And she has often stepped up into the lineups when needed. Judges are looking for those positions of the leaps, showing the full split, showing the shape in the air, and of course amplitude, lift off the floor. Closes with a tuck double back. Very good landing. Nice job. Good for her stepping into the lineup.
It's interesting, Kathy, because before the meet we were talking about, is LSU going to be in the doldrums after last week's loss at home?
They used so much energy to compete that intensely. That second somersault of that was a little bit low. That second one really needs to rise higher after the first.
And then when we got here, we found out that Lexi Priestman had a stomach virus, so even associate head coach Jay Clark says, well, we're going to roll the dice tonight, see what we get.
That's why I was a little bit surprised that Dee Dee didn't understand what I was asking. They put so much energy into competing so intensely.
Winter Childers now for Alabama coming after Maddie Desch's 9.825. So their first two scores, the 1-2 punch that Dana Duckworth wanted for Klopfer and Desch.
Very solid so far. Her leap series in the beginning of the routine showed one of the most difficult jumps on being that sheep jump, that the head goes back and the feet try to touch the top of your head.
She's been dealing with a bit of a sore knee. She fell in the first two meets on beam, so they pulled her out. Wow.
Good difficulty there. That front toss to one leg and then right into the scale. That's a little bit of that added choreography with the arms to keep it moving while you concentrate on the dismount ahead.
3 impressive hits for the Crimson Tide here.
Here's the switch leap. Now watch this. It's a sheep jump. She doesn't quite get the feet up high enough. It should be a little bit closer between the toes and the head. But that really very, very difficult.
Coach Duckworth was telling us that earlier in the week she's set the expectations very high this year. They were disappointed with their 8th place finish in the NCAAs last year. They're doing a nice job so far here on the beam. As we go back to floor, Christina Desiderio coming after Canamella scored a 9.775.
And her E-pass of choice, this is a high double layout. Short up rotation. Hopefully that didn't hurt the ankles. It certainly didn't feel good, but that will be a big deduction. Another difficult pass, a little bit low on the landing, chest is down.
2018 SEC all-freshman team last year.
Nice finish. That was really her best of the 3 passes. It's a difficult third tumbling run. When she hits this routine, it's going to be really nice. Good difficulty, high energy.
You know, her family's full of Alabama fans. In fact, her dad actually played football here, so they weren't exactly too thrilled when she committed to LSU.
She didn't quite have the energy going into it or the arm lift off the floor. Managed to keep her knees from going down, so that saves an even bigger deduction. A little high on that handspring, but she got those arms up, managed to complete the pike double back.
Back to beam for Alabama. Shallon Olsen will go Winter Childers, a career high 9.925, Kathy. So 3 superb beam routines to start off this rotation for Alabama, who is trailing LSU coming into this round.
Shallon has worked really hard on her form and execution, because in elite gymnastics, it's all about difficulty, and you just throw everything but the kitchen sink into your routine to rack up those difficulty points. Well, in college, yes, you have to have a certain level of difficulty, but it is really form and execution that are the big deductions.
Big adjustment for many of these elite athletes. Coach Duckworth said this young lady can do every trick in the book. But guess what? In college,
you don't get extra for it.
You don't get extra for it. Execution is critical in this level of competition, according to collegiate rules.
She might get a little deduction for that pause. However, I would tweak the judges. She just did the hardest dismount sequence in the competition, so you need a little bit of concentration. In the country. 2 back handsprings to a pike double back. That's uber difficult. So I'm going to give it to her. She needed to pause just a little bit, gather the energy and the focus, and show us some good stuff.
I kind of wish they would mitigate those deductions based on the degree of difficulty, because she could have done a much simpler dismount. Taking that risk she should be rewarded for that as well.
I agree.
Kennedy Edney now on the floor. Now Desiderio had a 9.5 only. That's the score they'd like to replace, but that is the first bump in the road for the LSU Tigers in this meet so far.
Arabian double front. Another E-pass. Beautifully executed combination pass. Notice how the second somersault went higher. Needs a little bit more ring position in that first leap. You want to see the complete split from the toe to the knee and then that right angle of the back leg. LSU's showing good difficulty, solid on that landing. Now this is the third time I've seen their performances, and each time they've gotten better, performing a little bit bigger in the choreography, a little bit more energy. Good to see.
After Ruby Harrell's 9.85, the other two scores were a little bit low. Panamela only 9.775 and Desiderio 9.5.
So
what's important?
There's the back 1.5 twist to the front layup, her combination pass.
On the beam for BAMA, Italy.
And finished with a tuck double back.
And to beam now for Alabama, coming after Shallon Olsen, a 9.8.
Don't you love that, man?
Oh, beautiful.
That is so much fun. Well, I think it'd be fun.
The gap is closing in this competition. Remember, LSU had a lead of .325 coming into this rotation. A few stumbles on floor and rock and beam routines for Alabama.
When I mentioned amplitude on those acrobatic series, that was a much higher, floatier layout step out. Love the look of that. Love that she maintained the toe point throughout. Split jump half. Beautiful extension through her feet. A little bit short of that first split position, but the second jump, gorgeous.
Now this is an event where, of course, they pulled Lexi Graber out because she had that injury prior to the meet, and she's normally their top scoring beam routine. What a performance we're seeing here by the Crimson Tide.
The extension through her foot, the high arch, nicely done.
5 superb beam routines in a row for the home team. Wow.
Check this out. How much fun. Just dive right back. Catch it on your chest. Beautiful. Toe point. Check that out. The arch of her foot on both feet. Gorgeous. And nails the landing.
Sarah Finnegan now on floor, coming after Kennedy Edney notched a 9.875.
1.5 twist through to 2.5 twist. She does this impeccably well. Perfect control. She knows exactly when to give with the floor, to not bounce. She absorbs the landing and goes right into the dance. Even that little scoot step back is pretty. Those are picture perfect. A photographer's dream on those leaps. You literally couldn't get a bad picture.
15-time All-American, last year's SEC all-around champion.
Pike double back, toes pointed. Beautiful landing, perfect control. Best routine she's done all season.
In her career, she scored a perfect 10 on 3 events, bars, beam, and floor. The former senior international elite gymnast.
Her routine last week was this flawless, except for this pass. Here, it is exquisite. Watch this.
Alabama's final competitor on the ballot.
So much pass to fit into the floor, and look at the position in the air. Never loses the toe point.
Talk about a rotation that Alabama's having on beam. 4 straight season or career high scores in this lineup. Already a team high on this event with 1 athlete to go.
What a great position to be in here. She has the opportunity to finish this off with such grace and precision and composure, because it's a lot of pressure. Little break there.
Angelina Giancroce, the senior from Aiken, South Carolina.
A little bit off on that first leap. And get that connection. And those leaps, the jumps that turn in the air, the more revolutions obviously you do in the air, the more difficult. Nice job. Couple little breaks in there they'll have to deduct for.
But the 5 previous routines were superb for this team. She's one of just 3 seniors. There's 3 juniors, 5 sophomore, and 6 freshmen on this Crimson Tide team. And they held up under great pressure here today.
Absolutely. I am certain Dana Duckworth is extremely pleased.
We spoke with her earlier this week, and she said, I hope you like what you see, because I'm really proud of how my team is progressing. McKenna Kelly will be the final performer for LSU on floor, coming after Sarah Finnegan's 9.95.
McKenna opens with a double layout. She was a little bit short last week with her chest down low. See if she can improve on that here. Bring the energy, get the arms up, and rotate. There it is. Already it's such a success. They've so improved.
McKenna Kelly, 14 months ago, tore her Achilles tendon. To have her back doing this level of pounding on the floor is pretty impressive, Gabby.
And there was a little scare in the warm-ups competition 2 weeks ago. She landed just a little awkwardly. And of course it was that on that ankle. Worried everybody. Seems to be no problem now. Worked hard on that split position. She's getting it. Working hard to get that toe point at the very height of the jump. And one thing she is not short of, and that is personality on this event. It is overflowing. Loves to perform. Great job.
The junior from Houston, Texas, the daughter of that young lady there, Mary Lou Retton, Olympic champion, does her part in the anchor spot.
I have to believe Mary Lou was doing this double layout with her, getting her chest up, get those arms up, arms. Yep, see, I told you she was going to get her chest up with her. Well done. And I'm talking about Mama in the stands.
And I'm sure her doctor says, do not raise your right arm above your shoulder while you're in that brace. Let's go down to Dana Duckworth. Boy, Alabama season highs on beam and bars so far tonight. How do you feel about your team's efforts so far, Dana?
Well, we're fighting and we're battling. And I told them, I said, listen, it's going to be a punch and a punch, and you got to keep punching. And so, you know, there's, of course, in my mind, there's things I'm going, okay, we could have done this better, but it doesn't matter right now. What matters right now is that we did a great beam performance, and it's building their confidence. And the first 5 up, I told them, I said, 5 up, 5 count, and let's give Angelina the opportunity to go out there and do what she's capable of. So now it's time to get our fans on their feet and to do a lights-out floor performance, because it ain't over till it's over.
Well, you just answered my next question. What are you going to tell them about floor? And you just let us know.
That's right. Yep. Go have fun and do BAMA style. Roll Tide.
All right, thank you, Dana. When we come back, we'll move to the 4th and final rotation. On the other side of the break, we'll hear from Alabama on how missing last season's Super 6 changed their mindset and became their motivation for this year.
It was gut-wrenching to sit up in the stands, but at the same time, I looked at the ladies and just said, this is an opportunity to learn. This is to look at, well, what do those other teams that are in the Super 6 look like?
You know, it wasn't our best finish, but I think we showed a lot of resilience, and each one of us has such drive and determination in earning a spot in that national championship this year.
I do believe that Alabama will be considered an underdog because of where we ranked last year, but I would put my money on Alabama because I think that what I see in the gym every day is a earn it type of passion, and they are striving for excellence every single day.
Well, after some significant changes in the program, including a new assistant coach, Alabama 8 season highs tonight and doing a great job, and you can feel the energy in this room that they're building off of that momentum over the victory last week over Georgia.
I love seeing the enthusiasm and to be rewarded with those season highs. That's really what it's all about at this point in the season, just getting better each week.
Alabama, one of the great legendary programs in all of women's collegiate sports. LSU and Sarah Finnegan will be on the beam when we come back in the final rotation. And we'll get a look at Shalyn Olsen, the Olympian, who will be on the floor for the young Crimson Tide. Don't go away. The 4th and final rotation when we come back. And we have a good one here at Coleman Coliseum in Alabama tonight. These two teams separated by just 0.4 of a point going into the 4th and final rotation. The visiting LSU Tigers have the lead over the Crimson Tide now. LSU has to go to the beam, and Alabama will be on the floor. So here we go, that all-important lead-off performance on the beam. And for so many years, Kathy Johnson-Clark, we saw Aaron McAdag, Maya Hambrick get them off to a huge start. A different team this year for LSU, and a lot of pressure on this young lady, Christina Desiderio.
Those were big shoes to fill. I mean, we got so accustomed to feeling relaxed for them to be able to start so strong, so comfortably. Christina starts with a front aerial to a split jump. Look for the control and connecting these two skills together. Very serious, that handspring out step. A little bit of an arm adjustment, an arm balance break. Very slight.
He was consistently in that 9-9 range last year on beam. But she was not in that pressured pass position at the leadoff.
Very nice position in the air on those leaps. I like to see her smile in this routine. It relaxes you, adds to the performance. Nice job, fought for the landing.
Great start for LSU. They'll hand her the stick crown. And mark a hit down for the Tigers.
Really nice position, good amplitude. The first split was a little bit bigger than the second, but nice leadoff routine.
The leadoff for Alabama in this fourth and final rotation will be junior Maddie Desch.
And Bart, she went back to her freshman routine. She asked permission because she said that was the most fun I ever had doing the routine. I really want to do that again. So they made little changes to the choreography, make it new. But when it's a routine that you can connect to both musically and choreographically. Nice job of the pipe to the back. Always a crowd-pleasing combination pass. They love those split jumps, or the passes that keep going and going and going.
Maddie Desch was a member of the U.S. team at the 2014 World Championships in China. They won a gold medal. She also has a silver medal from the Pan Am Games during her days as an elite athlete.
Done a nice job cleaning up the footwork from her freshman year. Good to see on this routine. Chest was a little bit down on that final tumbling run, but very minor deductions.
Good start for Alabama on the floor. By the way, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on the SEC Network, we'll have one of the premier college indoor track and field events in the country, the annual Razorback Invitational from Fayetteville. Like everything else, you can always watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. Back to the beam now. Bridget Dean coming after Christina Desiderio led them off with a season-high 9.85.
And Bridget has a more unique and difficult, really, acrobatic series in this routine. She'll do an aerial cartwheel into a back handspring. It's more difficult when you do a side element and have to square off and go into that back handspring. Really well done. Back leg just a little low on that first switch leg leap. Same thing on the third jump. Really need to get both those legs even.
LSU has a lead of 4/10.
Aerial cartwheel to the dismount. Nice job on the landing.
So 2 hit routines for LSU, the visiting Tigers.
So wonderful to see something unique and difficult. Aerial cartwheel, back handspring. Watch how aggressive she is going to that end position. Nice finish.
On the floor for Alabama, Shea Mahoney.
For the leadoff performer for Alabama, Maddie Desch had a 9.85. That brings up Shea Mahoney, the junior from Algonquin, Illinois.
And this will be a lot of fun, a big band fun routine.
She's been dealing with some issues with her Achilles. A little bit tender, so last week she didn't get a spot in the lineup.
Nice lift in that tight double back. Good footwork going into those leaps. Love to see that.
Last year, she made the floor lineup 5 times. She was more consistently in vault and bars for Alabama.
Beautiful straddle position in the second jump. Nice stretch, showing off the flexibility. Love the finishing touches in this routine, really paying attention to those details. Oh no,
and she's out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds, they'll take off for the steps, multiple steps, and then of course a 1/10 of a point. It's a neutral deduction for the step out of bounds. See how many steps you've got. 1, 2, and that one went over the line. Just barely, but over the line.
Back to the beam now. Sammy Durrani coming after Bridget Dean, notched a 9.825. LSU doing a nice job here.
Sammy quickly becoming a very strong 2-event gymnast this year.
She contributed a great deal on bars last year, but stepping up where they need her this year to replace people like Amber and Aaron Mandeville.
Check, balance check after that layout step out. Almost looked like just for a split second she doubted herself instead of attacking that landing. Sometimes you can make corrections if you're just aggressive going into the finish pose. Lost form a little bit in both of those leaps. Really got to watch those feet and legs. To a full, little bit of a pipe down, but nice, no movement on the landing.
Sammy's mother was a former gymnast at Arizona State, so was her father, and then of course her mom, Dana, was the head coach at the University of Georgia.
Now you want to feel like you have little suction cups on those feet. She really had to make some adjustments there to maintain balance. Gave up a little bit on the balance break. Fought hard though there on that landing.
Abby Armbrecht now coming after Shea Mahoney's 9.725.
Double back. Very pretty presentation so far. Really nice position at the top of those jumps. Loving this music.
Me too.
Really beautiful.
There has become something of a formula in collegiate floor routine, so it's really nice to do something different.
Absolutely.
It sounds completely different.
The routine goes nicely with it. Want to correct that one little flat foot there going into those leaps, but other than that, everything has been really quite pretty. Just beautiful. I love to see something different.
And you never go wrong with Stairway to Heaven, as far as I'm concerned as well.
Nice height on that leap and double stag.
On balance beam for LSU.
Good job for the senior doing her graduate work at Alabama here. She finished her undergraduate last year. Kennedy Edney now, coming after Sammy Durrani had a 9.8. Kennedy Edney and her teammate Sarah Finnegan are currently tied in the all-around.
Really nicely done, front aerial, good form in the air, good amplitude. nice control on that layout step out. Good form in the air. Back leg was a little low on the first leap, not bad. She has become a much better beam performer.
And cleaner execution as she has matured.
Front toss. She's always been a powerful gymnast. I'm seeing much more finesse now, especially on balance beam. And boy, does she have those landings dialed in this evening.
There were some question marks. Would LSU be in a little bit of a funk after that loss last week against Florida? But here they are carrying a lead in this fourth and final rotation.
Look at the amplitude here. Very soft on the landing.
On the floor for Alabama, Winter.
And nothing you can say about this landing except for that's perfect.
We go back to floor now. Kathy, you'll be happy to know that Abby Armbrecht was acknowledged with a 9.925 for her floor routine, and that sets up Winter Childers. In this spot was supposed to be Lexi Graber, but as we noted at the beginning of the competition, with a lower right leg injury in warm-ups, she's out of the all-around, so Alabama doing a nice job without one of their key all-around performers.
Got to work a little bit on the form on that front handspring, but a nice open with the double twist. And again, I like the difference in the music selection.
Contributed on beam and bars a great deal in 2018. Only made the floor exercise lineup 3 times. Remember, this is a team that graduated Kiana Winston and Nikki Guerrero. So these young ladies stepping up with this level and this quality of performance is really impressive.
Good to see. They have such a supportive crowd, especially right over there with the student section near the floor exercise, driving them through these routines. Great to see. Good difficulty throughout this routine, this middle pass. Combination, a lot of twisting, back 1.5 twists, through to a double twist.
For LSU on balance beam, Reagan Campbell.
Reagan Campbell set to go on beam, coming after Kennedy Edney. A 9.925. What a day Kennedy Edney is having. 39.625 in the all-around. Superb.
Really like that mount choreography. Does a nice job keeping good beam posture. Beautiful stretch on that sisson.
Reagan Campbell, the sophomore from Coppell, Texas. If she can get a 9.8 or better right now for LSU, LSU can clinch the team title away tonight against the Crimson Tide.
Yep, little dismount, Bob, a little hop on that landing, but I think she'll do it. She almost turned into a little bit of a pogo stick there on the landing. The rest of the routine leading up to this dismount was really superb.
Solid on beam as a freshman, and she may have delivered a performance that would earn the team victory for LSU tonight. We come to the floor. Ari Guerra coming after Winter Childers notched a season-high 9.8. As we noted, Ari Guerra had an outstanding meet last week when the Crimson Tide beat the Georgia Gym Dogs by 25 thousandths of a point over in Athens.
Powerful tumbler, opens with a double layout. Ooh. Didn't quite have the energy going into that. She managed to get it around, but they will deduct for piking down a little bit low chest on the landing. I'm glad to see them, though, going for these E passes, those big, dynamic, opening tumbling runs. Strong finish. Perfect pike double back there at the end. Well done.
And what a courageous performance for the senior. SEC floor champion last year, and boy, what a journey she has had with some really intense back surgery to come back to this level of performance, Kathy.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to see her finish out her career the way she wanted to. Came back from an injury that many thought no way could she come back from that back injury. We'll go more into that next week. We get to see Alabama against Missouri next weekend.
Scores in for Reagan Campbell. That 9.875 clinches the team victory for LSU tonight at this dual meet with Alabama. Sarah Finnegan will wrap it up on beam at 197.325, their second high score of the year so far, but they could replace a 9.8 from Sammy Durrani with an even bigger score from Sarah Finnegan now,
who, as always, is just lovely on this routine. She did a nice cover after the back handspring layout step out. Was a little bit off, but kept it, the arms moving, covered that little bit of a balance error. The pictures she creates on this event are so beautiful. Slight little micro hop on the landing. They didn't need her to be absolutely perfect.
And although it's all about the team in collegiate gymnastics, she is in a heated battle with Kennedy Edney for the all-around championship.
Alabama's final competitor in the glory, Shalyn Olsen.
LSU will get the win, but we'll get a chance to see Canadian Olympian Shalyn Olsen. We saw her earlier. She is extremely explosive, Kathy.
And she's got a bag of tricks that you can't believe. She could choose from many different, very difficult tumbling passes. Pike double back with a full twist, one of the more difficult tumbling passes.
She competed for Canada in the World Championships in Doha in the Middle East this last fall, less than 3 months ago, and she still intends to keep her elite competitive career going while she's also accommodating collegiate gymnastics. Good for her.
Front through to an easy double back. I mean, she almost walked into it. Lost form just a little bit on the second leap. Really got to keep those legs tight and hit that picture in the air. Good finish. Nice difficulty from start to finish. Every pass full of difficulty. Made it look easy, too.
The freshman from Vancouver, British Columbia, tells her coach that she's never had more fun doing gymnastics than she does in college, and it really shows. And boy, she's got power to spare.
Absolutely. 3 passes, each with a double back in it. This one in pike position with a full twist. Now watch this. Front tuck. Looks like no way she's going to pull a double back here. Like a cat, just boop, all the way around and finds the floor.
So LSU has put it out of reach of the Crimson Tide. Alabama coming off a big victory last week against Georgia, and LSU coming up a loss against Florida. But LSU with an emotional victory here tonight and some clutch performances from this young team. We'll wrap this up when we come back, and we'll talk to the winners. Final score tonight at the Coleman Coliseum. The number 5 visiting LSU Tigers against Alabama, and LSU with a season high 197.45 gets the victory over the Crimson Tide. Make sure you join us next Friday, because on Friday Night Heights we'll bring you 2 more meets. We start at 7 Eastern with Arkansas against number 6 Georgia, squaring off from Athens. Then it's Alabama taking on Missouri in Columbia, and Kathy Johnson-Clark and I will be there. Friday Night Heights is also streaming live on the ESPN app. Hi, everybody. Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and the winning coach, Dee Dee Bro. Dee Dee, we saw you last week, you know, when you had that heartbreaking loss at home for the first time in 5 years in the PMAC. We wondered if there would be a little bit of a funk, but your team looked really good tonight.
Well, you know, you got a little bit of push when those things happen, and this is a new team. This is not the team we had last year, and we're trying to get these sophomores up and going, and I think we did that tonight. We, had some little giddy-ups, but they competed. They fought like crazy.
Where were you especially impressed with where they hit?
Well, I was impressed with McKenna Kelly, because she still got a little bit of pain in that ankle. But I was also impressed with the fact that Juliana Canamella, we had to put her in floor at the last minute. We took Lexi out of vaulting and put Brady Ferrer in. So we really got to exercise some depth, although she didn't do great tonight. But we've got to get Christina Desiderio, we've got to get her on floor.
So Kennedy Edney and Sarah Finnegan tied for the all-around.
That's
How
great.
Special is that?
Well, we've been waiting for Kennedy Edney to come into her own, and she's had great training. She's had great preparation, and her mind has been so right, but she hadn't put 4 great events together, and she did that tonight. And we're looking forward to greater things from her.
It looks like year in and year out, her execution improves, and now she's really matching up with Sarah Finnegan on a lot of levels.
Well, Sarah Finnegan just does so many things well, and that Gage training and where she comes from and her family and just everything about Sarah Finnegan is impeccable. Look at that. Flared it out and stuck it.
How about those stuck vaults tonight for you?
Well, we need that. That's got to come. If you're going to throw a 10-0 vault, then let's stick them. But, we had McKenna in there tonight and Bailey Ferrer, because we decided to take Lexi out. She just doesn't feel well.
So I know excited you are about what you saw, but I also know how your brain works. Process. What are you going to work on this week?
We got to remove the clutter. We got to get the clutter out. We've got to get in there and do routines that are not going to have breaks in them. I love our rhythm on beam. I think we're doing a great job of pushing and not having the stops and the hesitations. We're not landing high enough on floor. I want to see us do better on floor. Bars were just a little bit tight tonight, but they swung well and stuck a lot of landings. So, we'll go in the gym, do the same thing, remove the clutter. We have a great home meet next week. We're excited about it, so go Tigers.
I knew you had a plan.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Got a
Dee Dee,
plan.
on a great victory and a great battle in the SEC. It was a thrilling night. We're glad you joined us. The final score, LSU 197.45, 0.6 of a point against Alabama's 196.85. For Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bart Connor. It was a great night here in Tuscaloosa, and we are glad that you joined us. Now, coming up next is SEC Storied, Suzanne and Sarah. So long from Tuscaloosa.